know which side to wear the battery pack on. And then when I sit, it doesn't sit right in the pocket.
Good. It looks pretty good. Yeah.
I should put this on the other side so every time I go down, I won't bang the guitar. I have my
yes.
water here, so maybe I should move it to the side.
Good evening. We'll open our Sidurim on page 129. שבט אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבט אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבט אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבט אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבט אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבט אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבט אחים גם יחד. How wonderful is for our tribe, for our people, for our community to come together and celebrate Shabbat. How wonderful is to see each other's faces. You might want to make intentional eye contact with each other and say Shabbat Shalom. So we make that statement real. Good Shabbos, everybody.
Shabbat shalom.
This Shabbat of Parashat Be'ar. Parashat Be'ar, which is toward the end of the book of Leviticus. And Rashi, and maybe the entire Jewish world, ask, like, for God's sake, what's the matter of Shemitah, which is one of the things that this Torah portion deals with, the sabbatical year, at the end of the book of Leviticus? How are we going back to Mount Sinai? Maybe the Torah and the tradition, every time we celebrate Shabbat, remind us that there are practices, there are traditions that invite us to connect with our foundations. And the idea of Shemitah and the sabbatical year and the idea of Shabbat is an invitation to connect with the beginning of everything, with the foundations of our lives. So as we enter the Shabbat of Parashat Be'ar, this Shabbat in which we will have the privilege of seeing one of the children of our synagogue tomorrow going up to the Torah, and we are so proud of that. We enter the Shabbat asking to have some of the light that connects us with our sources, with our foundations. I would like to invite Wendy, Rebecca, Jordan, Henry, and David, all of you, to light Shabbat candles on page 120.
Shabbat shalom.
We'll now turn our Sidurim to page 130. Isheinu nekadma panav letoda vismirot naharialo nekadma panav letoda vismirot naharialo. Page 131. Shiru l'Adonai, Shir Hadash, Shiru l'Adonai, Kol haaretz, Shiru l'Adonai, Baruchu Shemo, Bastru miyom leyom, Yeshuato, Sapru hagoyim, Kevodo, V'chol ha'amim, Nifleotav, Yalalai, rai, 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 Yalalai, rai, 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 Yalalai, rai, 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 Yai, rai, 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 Yai, rai, 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 Yai, rai, 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 Yai, rai, rai.
Light is sown for the righteous, radiance for the upright. O you righteous, rejoice in Adonai and acclaim God's holy name. As we turn to the next page, 134.
Is your microphone working? How are doubts?
It should be working. Oh, no. It is working.
It's not only your softness, it's your softness and your microphone coming together. That's a good...
Please join me on page 134. Samru l'Adonai bechino v'kol zimra Zamru l'Adonai bechino v'kol zimra Zamru l'Adonai bechino
In our songs, in our voices, in our songs of praise, we try to find a conduit for ourselves, for our souls, to be uplifted, to be elevated. We turn our Sidurim to page 136 for Psalm 29, Mismor LeDavid. אדוני יברך את עמו בשלום. אדוני יוס לעמו ייתן, אדוני יברך את עמו בשלום. יאי די די, יאי די 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 די, יאי די את עמו בשלום. אדוני יוס לעמו ייתן, אדוני יברך את עמו בשלום. It was that sense of joy and of urgency to stand up and to run toward welcoming Shabbat that we turn our study to page 138. Come, beloved, to meet the bride. Come, beloved, to greet Shabbat. Lechadodi likrat kalam. We are going to sing all the verses, and we are aware that we are showing for the first time that actually some of the non-existent verses that were here before, they are actually here. So if this is the first time that you are meeting one of the verses, we encourage you to take a look at what it says in English and to gradually, week after week, try the words of Lechadodi. It's all about awakening our hearts and coming to greet this wonderful day, this wonderful experience. That is the experience of welcoming Shabbat. Lechadodi
לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לחדודי לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה. שבת וזכור בדיבור אחד, נשמענו אל המיוחד. אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשם ותפארת ולתהילה.
לחדודי לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לחדודי לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי מקור הברכה. מראש מכרם נסוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. לחדודי לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לחדודי לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
מקדש מלך עיר מלוכה, קומי צאי מתוך חפך, רב לשבת במקו החם, הוא יחמול עלייכם נא.
לחדודי לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לחדודי לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה. התנערי מעפר קומי, לבשי בגדי צפת חמי. היד בן ישי בית הלחמי, קרבה נפשי גאלה. לחדודי לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לחדודי לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
התעוררי, התעוררי, כי באורך קומי אורי. אורי, אורי, שתדרי, כבוד אדוני
עלייך יגלה.
לך דודי לקראת קהלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קהלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי, היי 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 לקראת קהלה, היי בני שבת, בני שבת, בני שבת נקבלה. לא תבושי ולא תקלמי, מה תשתוכחי ומה תהמי, בך יחסו עניי ימי ונבנתה. הירקתי לה, היי לי לי לי, לך דודי, היי לי לי לי, לקראת קהלה, היי בני שבת, בני שבת, בני שבת נקבלה.
וחיו נפשי שוסי ורחקו כל מבלייך, יסיס עלייך אלוהי, כמסוס חתן על כלה.
היי 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 לך דודי, היי לי לי לי, לקראת קהלה, היי בני שבת, בני שבת, בני שבת נקבלה.
ימין ושמאל, תפרוסי את אדוני, תריצי על יד איש, בין פרטי ונשמחה, בין הגילה
היי לי לי לי, לך דודי, היי לי לי לי, לקראת קהלה, היי בני שבת, בני שבת, בני שבת נקבלה. בואי ושלום, הדלת ולה גם בשמחה, ובצולה תוך אמוני המסגולה. בואי כלה, שבת המלכה, היי לי לי לי, לך דודי, היי לי לי לי, לקראת קהלה, היי בני שבת, בני שבת, בני שבת נקבלה. היי לי 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 לי, היי לי 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 לי, היי לי 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 לי, יאי לי לי. While you are standing, we invite you to take a moment, as we have Welcome Shabbat. We invite you to take a moment to welcome each other, to say Shabbat Shalom to each other. And once, if you look at someone that you don't recognize, make sure that you actually reach out and say Good Shabbos. We'll continue our service on page 140 with Mizmor Shir Yom HaShabbat, which is going to be, I'll put it here. You can follow the service on page 140, Mizmor Shir Yom HaShabbat.
Shir Yom HaShabbat, Mizmor Shir, 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 Shir Yom HaShabbat.
We're on page 144 for Hetzikadish.
Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah. Amen. Be'almadi vrachirtei v'yamlich malchutei b'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayetecho beit Yisrael. Bagala u'v'zman kariv ve'imeru Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach le'alam ulal me'almaya yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitba'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yithalal shemei dekudasha brihu le'la min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiran ve'alma ve'imeru Amen.
As we invite you to turn your Siddurim to page 146 and to please rise for Barhu.
Lai, 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 lai. Yai, la, lai, 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 lai. Yai, la, lai, 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 lai. Yai, la, lai, 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 lai. Yai, la, lai, 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 lai. Yai, la, lai, 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 lai.
As we turn the page to page 148, we read together, "Blessed are you, Adonai our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time and changes seasons, arranges the stars in their heavenly course according to plan. You are creator of day and night, ruling light from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night, and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tzvaot is your name. Ever-living God, may you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on evening. Baruch atah Adonai, Hamariv Aravim."
Shabbat Olam Beit Israel, everlasting love you offer your people Israel, teaching us Torah, mitzvot, laws, and precepts. As we get closer to the Shema, I invite you to take one moment and to take this invitation that the Shema opens before us to slow down, to close your eyes, and to think about that idea of Abat Olam, of Abba Rabbah, of everlasting, of deep love. To think about what it means, a source of everlasting, of unconditional love in your life, and to let the presence, the energy of that love surround you and embrace you as a talit, as a prayer shawl. Let that presence, that energy give you some rest and some comfort. And with each breath, let the light of that energy fill your body. Invite you to be mindful of your breath. And as you breathe in, fill your heart, your chest with light. And with each breath that goes out, I invite you to recognize energies, things that you are carrying this Shabbat that don't belong within your heart, and that should be let go. I invite you to take one moment to recognize some of them and to patiently and nicely pick them and breathe them out. As we take one more deep breath with the light, with the love, with the presence of this Shabbat, and we fill our hearts and we say, "Dear God, please never remove that light, that love from us. לבדך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים, ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל." And now our Shirim, page 152. Shema Israel, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Israel, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Israel, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Israel, Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
page 154.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובמלאכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם להות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
אמת, אדוני אלוהיכם, אמת. אמת במון הכל. סוד וקיים עלינו כי אדוני אלוהינו ואין זולתו ואנחנו ישראל עמו. We will continue with the silent reading over page 156. When your children witnessed your presence, they praised your name in gratitude, and they accepted your sovereignty. Moshe, Miriam, and all Israel stand to you together, lifting their voices with joy. Who is like you, O God, mi chamocha, ba'elim Adonai? We're on page 158. Mi chamocha, ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha, ne'edar ba'kodesh. נורא תהילות אוסף אלה, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה, מלכותך ראו בניך, בוקע ים לפני משה ומרים, צלי אנו ואמרו Adonai Himloch Leolam Ba'ed. As it is said, Adonai redeemed Jacob from a hand stronger than his own. Praised are you, Adonai, for redeeming Israel. Baruch Ata Adonai Gaal Israel. We're on page 160 for the blessing for internal peace. We will also use the modern words of one day. What?
I don't know if we have function.
What do you say anyway? You all know how to say one day. Next week we'll have it. Sometimes I lay under the moon, thank God I'm breathing. Then I pray, no take me soon, 'cause I'm here for a reason. Sometimes in my tears I drown, but I never let it take me down. So when negativity surrounds, I know one day it will all turn around, because all my life I've been waiting for, I've been praying for my people to say that we don't wanna fight no more, there will no more wars, and the children will say one day, one day, one day, one day, one day, one day. Ashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, Behamidenu shomeinu lechayim. Ashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, בעמידנו שומרנו לחיים ושמור צאתנו ובואנו לחיים ולשלום מעתה ועד עולם.
My life I've been waiting for the people to say that they don't want to fight no more, shall be no more, and the children will play one day, one day,
אלוהינו לשלום בעמידנו שומרנו לך.
Ashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom,
One day, one day, one day. Ashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu לשלום בעמידנו מלכנו לחיים. ברוך אתה אדוני הפורש סוכת שלום עלינו ועל כל עמו ישראל בעל ירושלים. Blessed are you, Adonai, whose shelter of peace is spread over us, over all your people Israel, ועל כל יושבי תבל, and over all the peoples of the world, and over Yerushalayim, the city of Shalom, as we say, Amen. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת בדורותם ברית עולם. We're on page 162. הניעו בין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני, עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. We'll now turn our study to page 164 for Tfilat Amidah. Please rise. Adonai Sefatai Tifta At the bottom of page 180, we invite you to say together in Hebrew, Oseh Shalom b'imromav, uyaseh Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Israel ve'al kol yoshbei tevel ve'imru. Amen.
At this point in our service, we take a moment to direct our attention to those who may be in need of healing, whether that be healing from malady or illness, the healing of addiction or body, of spirit or mind. And want to invite you, as my eyes go around the room, to share aloud the names of any who you may be thinking of.
Van Gundy, Dave Stahl, Margaret and Larry McGuan, Carol Rosenberg, Batya Peters, Rich Sabridger, Sandra Goldberger, Elise Musin, Mira Engel, Victoria Spiller, Bruce Preville, Davida Rosenbaum, Debbie Pink, my Uncle Bill Rupright, Judy Sutton, Nadia Fachanova, Ellen Kashik, Richard Ravitch, Bernice Paris, Bernard Zeldow, Brant Kotowski, Howard Beckerman, Elaine Weinberg, Ivor Barber, Don Barnett, Orla Colgan.
And please join us with the words of our prayer for healing, El Na Refana La. Ana, El Na, Ana, El Na, Ana, El Na, Ana, El Na, Ana, El Na Refana La. Ana el na refana la. Oh, Ana el na refana la. Oh, Ana el na refana la. Ana el na. Ana el na. Ana el na. Ana el na. Ana el na refana la. Oh, Ana el na refana la. Oh, Ana el na refana la. Oh, Ana el na refana la. Ana el na. Ana el na.
We wish to all of them, to all of you, to all of us, רפואה שלמה והחלמה מהירה, complete recovery and well-being, and we say, Amen.
Shabbat Shalom. Now am I on? Good. Okay. We, this week, are reading Leviticus 25, and this week's Parsha is Bahar. And I thought I would give us, before we dive into the meat of it, a little bit of a roadmap to Bahar, right? Bahar focuses on laws of the sabbatical year, the Shemitah, which says that every 7th year, right, the land, the means of produce must rest. Farmers don't plant or harvest crops. Instead, they leave the land fallow, and whatever grows naturally simply is available for eating, including for the poor and for animals. It introduces the idea of the Jubilee year, or in Hebrew, the Yovel, and every 50th year following 7 cycles of sabbatical years. We have the Jubilee year, and during this year, all ancestral land is returned to its original owners. Slaves are freed, and it ensures that economic disparities do not become entrenched and that families have the opportunity to reclaim their inheritance. We also have some property laws about the sale and redemption of property, and we learn that there's no really such thing as land sales. We essentially have long-term leases on land, as the land ultimately belongs to God. We have discussion of the treatment of the poor and of slaves. Instructions are provided on how we treat those who fall into poverty, and we emphasize the importance of supporting them. And Israelites are reminded not to charge interest on loans and to treat slaves with dignity, as they are ultimately servants of God as well. And then we conclude with a prohibition of idolatry and a reminder that we ought to observe Shabbat. So those are some of the big themes we have in Parshat Bahar. But I want to look at the 4th one, which is all the more interesting because this Parsha contains a very famous line which goes, Ukaratem dror, ba'aretz lechol yoshveha, which means, and you shall proclaim dror throughout the land to all who dwell in it. What's dror? So if you've been following Rabbi Kasher's blog with me since his visit here, you know that it is most commonly translated as liberty, right? And this verse appears most famously in America on the Liberty Bell, right, in Philadelphia. But there's an issue here that I just want to sort of highlight or like pull to the fore, right? No one commented on it yet, but maybe because he didn't want to interrupt. But it probably bugged a few of you. A Torah portion that talks about proclaim liberty. And over here it says, and now let's talk about our dignified treatment of slaves. We have a bit of a problem here, a bit of a juxtaposition. Now, let me tell you, by the way, before the Civil War in America, this is a hotly discussed area of American preaching. But I want to offer one idea from one of our biblical commentators, Rashi, who's actually commentating on another area, another very problematic verse, Deuteronomy 21:11. You can look it up yourselves. Rashi says, the Torah only speaks against the evil inclination. What does it mean? It's not a rhetorical question. Anyone feel like they know what that means? What?
It basically, to me, it seems to say it doesn't tell you, like, this is just a guide. It's not just says, this is evil, don't do it.
This is evil, don't do it. Close, I think. Yeah. The idea, not the act. Okay. We're getting warmer, but I don't think we're quite there yet. Anyone else? This is a participation sport. I've got all night. The idea, and I think y'all were close. Thank you for being brave, by the way. I really want to appreciate that. Is that when the Torah recognizes a truly, like something it views as evil, instead of forbidding it and risking that the text itself will be ignored, the Torah channels it into something better, speaking not, in this case, not to our clearer moral selves, but it's actually speaking to our worst selves, to the evil inclination, and trying to ameliorate that impulse. There's numerous examples of this in our Torah. For example, if you win someone as a captive of war, well, You're commanded to marry them. If you conquer a city, well, all right, but you can't cut down the fruit trees. If you suspect infidelity in your family, well, you'd best be prepared to undergo a public ritual to prove it. This idea that the Torah suspects when the public will do a wrong thing and then adjusts to match its audience where it's at, its idea does not sit right with many of us. I think the first reason it doesn't sit right with many of us is because contemporary society has moved on. The things that the Torah is seeking to ameliorate for us, no longer relevant. But what's more, even if we interpret this in the spirit of the times, right? Okay, put that objection aside. Let's say it was relevant. There's something else that troubles us greatly about this, because this path seems an inherent compromise. And in our modern world, our hyper-polarized modern world, compromise with your ideological opponent, with something that seems even evil, has never been so out of vogue. I mean, I've only been around 34 years, but I have to say, it's never been so out of vogue in my experience. And to be clear, I want to be actually quite firm about this. I'm not implying that our tradition has a soft moral compass. Our tradition's values are clear, even absolute. Yet, as I read the incongruence between the proclamation of liberty and instructions for more ethical handling of slavery, a fundamentally unethical concept, I notice my own sense of unease. Sure, even if the text is absolute, to engage with a different perspective, is that not a betrayal of those values? We might call the Torah's willingness to engage and improve upon situations we consider wrong a perspective of incrementalism, where overall improvements are achieved incrementally at the cost of compromise. And on the flip side, that part of me which reads this with some unease, right, we might call a perspective of maximalism, right? Being unwilling to compromise at all, maybe achieving no progress or relegating a text to a shelf, but maintaining a perfect ethical standard. I don't know if anyone here reads the news, but perspectives of maximalism are really dominating our society today. The idea, the constant unwillingness that we have to compromise with an ideological other, with an opponent, even if it would result in an improvement, is part of what I fear our fabric of our society is becoming. Have you been to a protest? Have you seen the political tribalism? Have you discussed, as I did not 1 hour ago, your favorite TV show? You might find the other side unwilling to compromise. And yet, Torah actually says something quite different. Torah says we can work incrementally. We can engage with others who we don't agree with things we don't like, without disavowing our own strong moral framework. And so as I want to offer this little nugget of an idea going forward, each week we read a new parsha, and hopefully take a new lesson, a new nugget with us. How timely this week. We got Bahar. It was perfect timing. And because when I read the news, and then I stop and I read Bahar, I see a clear message. And that message is this: we have a tradition with a moral standard, but we are commanded to engage. I don't know who here has read the Talmud, but I want to tell you it's a lot of dialogue. It's a dialectic, it's a discussion, it's an argument. And we can take that framework and use it to do good in the world, to improve where we can, even if we find it imperfect. Shabbat Shalom.
I invite you to turn your Sidurim to page 570, as we are going to count the Omer before we open the Ark for Aleinu Leshabeach, page 570. Today we are counting 32 days, which is, come on friends, every single Friday I'm checking your maths. By the way, I check it before services and before I count it every day, so I don't need to do the math in real time. What? You said 30 days. 32.
32.
4 weeks and 4 days. That's right, once again, Diane.
Next week it'll be 5
She
weeks
gets it
and
really
4
fast.
days.
הנני מוכן ומזומן, הנני מוכן ומזומן, הנני מוכן ומזומן, לקיים את מצוות עשה עשה. הנני מוכן ומזומן. Next week you might know it already. הנני מוכן ומזומן, הנני מוכן ומזומן, לקיים את מצוות עשה. הנני מוכן ומזומן, לקיים את מצוות עשה, של ספירת העומר. I am ready to fulfill the mitzvah of counting the homer. I invite you to say it with me, ברוך אתה אדוני, אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר קידשנו במצוותיו, וציוונו על ספירת העומר. היום ל"ב, יום שהם 4 שבועות ב4 ימים לעומר. Today is the
32nd.
day which is
4
and
4.
of the counting of the Omer. Now, yes, I invite you to turn your Siddurim to page 586 for Aleinu Leshabeach. And if you are under or around the age of being a bar bat b'nei mitzvah, I invite you to join Rabbi Michael to the bima to open the ark. Please rise as the ark is open.
Hey, no running, no running. Wait. Slow.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי ארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, בגורלנו ככל העמונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים, לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, עד קדוש ברוך הוא. שהוא נוטה שמיים ביוסד הארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו מגובי מרומים. הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, אמת מלכנו אפס זולתו, ככתוב בתורתו, בידעת היום בהשבות אל לבביך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ מתחת אין עוד. page 590, ככתוב בתורתך אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ. ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד. As we close the curtain of the ark, the parochet, we will invite you to sit. It's a process. You may be seated.
If you are in the first 7 days of mourning,
We'll twist it again. So we're trying this new methodology in which we will acknowledge first the names that we have in our list, and then we will invite people to rise, so nobody needs to be standing for forever.
so we're starting with your sites.
We start with the year and then with the yours.
We remember those who died within this last year: Joseph Ludwig, Irina Greenwald, Bud Billmeyer, Al Herman, Bernie Greenfield, Rocky Flanagan, Pearl Sandelman, Kazuo Shimokawa Fleischman, Carolyn Latween, Carl Simon Burns, Perry France, Tracy Taub, Sherwin Katofsky, Lance Vault, Lillian Sidlow, Gail Frankel, Bruce Roberts, David Sherman, Alfreda Massman, Sally Small, Rabbi Jerry Levy, Judith Schwartz, David Benke, Dr. Steve Taub, Louis Dick, Sung Nguyen, Diane Kalmuth, Gary Bronstein, Ilya Rabinovich, Bonnie Epstein, Mahin Bahun Sinai, Guy Iluz, Mark Allen Grubbs, Connie Shine, Rosemarie McGuan, Stanley Rich, Sandy Bain, Jerry Levy, Rosalie Berkowitz, Adrian Friedman, Tripp Richardson, Eleanor Hill, Daniel Knipe, Sandra Koff, Yeno Rosso Benito, Marcel Cunningham, Madeline Salzman, Kevin Scott, Robert Kilgore, and those who died at this season in years past: Anna Gelber, Benjamin Kent, Bernice Siegel, David Askenazer, Gerald Levenfeld, Gil Gilmore, Henny Fredkin, Joseph Bloom, Larry Eisen, Lucia Lowenstein, Lucille Steinberg, Olga Pustulnik, Samuel Shackman, Stephen Becker, Thelma Turner, Timothy Toman, Zoya Kais.
Now we will invite those that are during the first 7 days of mourning to please rise. And so those that are during the first 30 days of mourning, the period of Shloshim, and those that are during the first year of mourning, the cycle of the first year of mourning, and share with us the names of those you are remembering. Steve? If you have a yahrzeit this week, the anniversary of someone passing by this time of the year in years past, please rise and share with us who you're remembering. Now you can support our fellows. Thank you. Now you can support our fellows while standing or sitting, joining us with your voices or your hearts for Kaddish Avelim, Mourner's Kaddish, on page 598. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, בעלמא דברה חירותה, וימליך מלכותה, בחייכון וביומכון, ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב, באמרו אמן. יהא שמי רבה מבורך לעולם ולמי עלמיה, יתברך וישתבח, ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא. ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה לעילה מן כל ברכתה בשירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירם בעלמה באמרו אמן. יאש למר רבה מן שמיה בחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל באמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו ויעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל באמרו אמן. May the memories of your dear ones be always a blessing in your life. Yesichram Baruch. You may be seated.
It's our pleasure to invite up Jack Friedman to share some announcements with us.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. I'm just going to highlight a few announcements, but you can find all our events on the Shir Hadash website calendar. Upcoming on Saturday, May 25th at 9 a.m., Shabbat Cafe in the foyer right outside there. At 9:30 a.m., Torah study, followed by the 10:30 bat mitzvah of Rebecca Stern. On Sunday, May 26th, 5 p.m., Shir Hadash will be holding a BBYO barbecue dinner to celebrate Lag Bomer. This event is for male-identifying teens rising into the 8th to 12th grade and their families. You can find more about BBYO and to register for the event online. On Monday, May 27th, ECC will be closed. ECC and the office will be closed in observance of Memorial Day. Thursday, May 16th at 8:30 a.m., Pika Avot with Rabbi Aaron and Rabbi Nico via Zoom. Please register for the event on the link, online for the link. As a preview, on Tuesday, June 4th at 7:30 p.m., the first night of our new educational program, Biet Midrash Summer Learning with Rabbi Michael. These sessions focus on learning to decode the Mishnah, as well as build on our Jewish literacy framework through the historical lens of the Jewish story. Knowledge of Hebrew letters and vowel markings are a prerequisite. Attend the whole series or drop in as you can. On Tuesday, June 11th, 5:30 p.m., save the date for our Shavuot festival. Enjoy drinks and the Children's Festival starting at 5:30 p.m., followed by dinner. Around 6:30 p.m., we will hold the Shavuot service outside, leading into a classic Shavuot desserts. After desserts, we'll begin a festival of learning with Rabbi Dalia Marks, Ph.D., a world-renowned scholar of Jewish liturgy, on the secrets of Ruth.
So don't worry about it.
Registration is currently open. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
So we'd like to invite David and the family to come up for the Kiddush. You can find the Kiddush on page 122.
David, you do the entire thing with my hula, or should I do the first part and then you? I do it first. So we are discussing this idea. Earlier today, we were discussing this idea that there are celebrations, there are moments that invite us to go all the way to our foundations, and Shabbat is one of those moments. And that's why when we do Kiddush for Shabbat, we read a little portion from the book of Genesis, from the story of creation. We start the Kiddush by saying the words that are on page 122. I invite you to join me if you can, or otherwise to read them in English. וירא בוקר יום השישי, ויחולו השמיים בארץ בכל צבאם, ויחל אלוהים ביום השביעי מלאכתו אשר עשה, וישבות ביום השביעי מכל מלאכתו אשר עשה, ויברך אלוהים את יום השביעי, ויקדש אותו, כי בו שבת מכל מלאכתו אשר ברא אלוהים לעשות. And David, then you raise your cup and we say, sabri חבריי וחברותיי, and we all say to you, לחיים, and then you go.
Shanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho v'ahava uvratzon inhilanu zikaron v'maaseh b'reshit ki hu yom tefillah lemikra kodesh zecher tzirat Mitzrayim kivanu acharta
Let's rise.
Kidashta in kol amim b'shabbat kodshecha ve'ahava uvratzon inchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh
Chaim, Chaim.
L'chaim.
And as we do the blessings for Shabbat and we acknowledge the joy of Shabbat, we also acknowledge the joy of our creations, of the things that we bring about in this world. We invite you to stand next to your family, your chosen family, your friends. And if you are on your own, to go connect with someone, make eye contact. Connect with someone, make sure that we acknowledge the blessing of being here, of being with each other. As we say to our children, and we take our blessings and we recognize that those blessings go beyond worlds and beyond generations. We have been receiving them from generations in the past, and we carry them for the generations to come. As we say, may God inspire you to be like the parents of the house of Israel. ישימכם אלוהים כאפרים וכמנשה, כשרה רבקה רחל ולאה. We say to all of them, יברככם אדוני באיש מלכם. May God bless you and protect you. יאר אדוני פניו אליכם ויחונקם. May God's light shine upon you and may God be gracious to you. יישא אדוני פניו אליכם. May you find within you God's presence always. And may God bless you with the most important gift that you can have, which is the gift of internal peace, of shalom. וישם לכם shalom. אדוני עוש לעמיו איתם. May God give strength to its peoples to bring about the blessing of shalom. אדוני יברך את עמו ואת עמיו בשלום. שבת שלום, שבת שלום מבורך everybody. שלום רב על ישראל עמך,
תשים לעולם.
שלום רב על ישראל עמך, תשים לעולם.
כי אתה הוא מלך אדון, ואור השלום.
כי אתה הוא מלך אדון, לכל השלום.
שלום רב על ישראל עמך, תשים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך, תשים לעולם. וטוב בעיניך לברך את עמך ישראל, בכל עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. שלום רב ישראל עמך, תשים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך, תשים לעולם.
תשים לעולם. שבס, מזל טוב.